Hello, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New
It's
Year.
it's 5th of January 2022, our first show of 2022, and we are here together. I would say strong and hoping to go forward. And today we have Munir with us. Charles, it's attending another
Stay.
appointment. Yes. But Munir, thank you, Munir, for
Pleasure.
supporting us to 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 keep this
For
for
stepping up.
for stepping up and keep us this team up. Thank you very much. Today's topic is Jesus, the family, and the New Year. And also at the end, we will Elsa will make a simple homage to two amazing friends who passed by through us, let, left their teachings, their knowledge with Dr. Marlene and Dr. Palmer, and I will leave with Elsa at the end to pay this tribute to them. Okay, so let's go around here. Munir, as Charles always says, let's the ladies first. I will start with Elsa, please.
Hello, dear friends. Happy New Year to everyone. And more than that, happy calendar, changing our souls to be a better soul every day. Every moment is a time for us to change our inner calendar. So I hope you enjoy our first show, our first topic tonight of the year. And as you know, we are here to learn together. When we are here to preparing for our talk, where we are the first one to learn what we are preparing. So I hope to share with you, and I hope you share our link with the other friends. Thank you. Welcome.
Miss Gibbons.
Hey, hello, good evening, good afternoon, boa noite a todos, boa tarde. Feliz Ano Novo, Happy New Year, and we ask God to bless us all and give us the courage and the strength that we will need as we start a new time in our lives, a new year, new opportunities, and asking for God's grace to help us, to sustain us, and that we also be able to do our part in this work and in the work around our homes and our families and our friends and out in the world. So God's protection to all of us. So it's nice to be here again. Yes. Thank you.
Munir, please.
Bonne année, salutations à tous. C'est un grand plaisir d'être ici entre amis pour parler du message de Jésus pour la nouvelle année. Happy New Year, greetings everyone. It is a great pleasure to be here among friends to talk about Jesus' message for the new year. Feliz Ano Novo, saudações a todos. É um prazer enorme de estar aqui entre amigos para falarmos da mensagem de Jesus para o Ano Novo. Que seja um ano maravilhoso para todos. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. So, see, now everybody's is talking French here. Even Guilherme said bonsoir, Charles. See? Oh my gosh. I think we need to improve our French skills here, my friend. So, without any delay, let me put our video, which is amazing video with love. That's the message of this video is love. So, let me put this video here and let's start.
We find today many couples asking about the aspect of adoption. I can talk with authority about the aspect because I was adopted myself. I keep thinking back on that little girl wondering what would have become of her if someone had not had the courage to seek out a child that was not of their own in order to embrace, in order to love, in order to educate. From a spiritist or a spiritualist point of view, we find that there is an amazing law that talks about spiritual ties and not just family ties. We find couples that are anguished, that for one reason or another are unable to conceive. We find same sex couples who wish to constitute a family and are unable to do so. And so they seek out those tiny souls that are in need of assistance, of being embraced, of being adopted, of being brought into a home to be educated and to be loved. There are so many kids in the world today looking for a parent. There are so many children that are hoping for an adult to take the time to look at them, not down to them, but at them, and extend their arms as if to say, let the little children come to me, as it was stated 2,000 years ago. We encourage, from a spiritist perspective, for couples to look for these children, to look in their eyes and recognize the family ties and the spiritual ties that unite them. Seek them out with the responsibility that entails having patience with the soul that is coming into their lives. Be open to this understanding. Sure, it didn't take 9 months to generate them in your womb, yet the heart speaks language, has processes that is unknown to mankind. Open your heart to a child if you're seeking to put forth the maternity, the paternity aspect, because after all, we are all adopted. Our Creator, our Father, placed us on this earth to be embraced by other beings. You were adopted, and so was I. Our divine origin resides in our Father above, our Creator.
So, again, another amazing video for our friends from Spiritist Academy. And to kick off this meeting today, I will ask permission for you all to read a message from Emmanuel, which, for those who doesn't know, Emmanuel is the spiritual guide from Chico Xavier about New Year. New Year is also an opportunity to learn, work, and serve. Time as a paternal friend, as if it reincarnates itself in the body of the calendar, opening up horizons for the necessary ascension. Remember that the year in return is a new day, calling you to carry out old promises you have to dare to fulfill. If you have enemies, make the hours reborn for you on the path of reconciliation. If you have been offended, forgive, so love may clear the road ahead for you. If you have rested too much, return to the plot of your obligations and fearlessly plant the good for the harvest to come. If sadness demands you, forget about it and look for the serene joy of a clear conscience in your duty well done. New year, new day. Smile for those who have hurt you and seek harmony with those who have not understood you until now. Remember that there is more ignorance than malice surrounding your faith. Do not curse or condemn. Help to turn on some light for those who pass by you in the restlessness of the darkness. Do not be discouraged or despair. Cultivate good spirits with those who visit you, overcome by the cold of disenchantment or indifference. Do not forget that Jesus never despairs with us, and, as if hidden by our side, patient and kind, he repeats to us from hour to hour, love and always help. Help others by supporting yourself, because if the day returns tomorrow, I am with you, waiting for the sweet joy of the open door of your heart. This message is in the book Life and Way by Francisco Cândido Xavier and Spirit Emmanuel. So we need to start here, and we start with our guest. Munir, my friend, which Jesus lessons would take for the new year?
Hi, Stevan, Elsa, and Silvia. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here with you and to talk, as Elsa said, to talk about Jesus. It's always a wonderful topic to talk and to bring, especially in this first meeting of the year. We've just come out of the seasons, Christmas, and for some people, for those who remember that Christmas is all about Jesus and not just a material party and Santa Claus and so on. Just remember that for some people, the name Jesus is important. Just mention Jesus and have, oh, Jesus, all the time mentioning his name. For some people, it's the appearance of Jesus. Oh, Jesus had blonde hair, dark hair. Jesus had a dark beard or not, or, blue eyes, dark eyes. He was short, he was tall. It's just the physical aspect of Jesus. But what is important to remember is the message, the living message that Jesus represented to all of us. Because Jesus is a pure spirit, and as a pure spirit, he has no imperfection. We see, for instance, in the Spirits book, the category of spirits. Pure spirits, they've managed to rid themselves from any imperfection. So when some people come out and say, well, Jesus behaved sometimes like this or like that, my personal opinion is that it doesn't make much sense to me, because Jesus is a pure spirit, and the pure spirit can choose to be pure sometimes, and at different occasions he may not be that pure. No. So there is, for me, a contradiction here. And Jesus is in total affinity with God. That means Jesus is living 100% the living of God's laws, of the natural laws. So wherever he lived, he showed us through his examples, through his words, his thoughts, his silence, his expressions was the best we could get in terms of expressions of a divine being. So Jesus tried to bring all his perfection into a human being. A human being at the time that he came, where people were even more ignorant than we are nowadays. And he had to present to them the perfection of God's laws in that context. And then, having said that, we see, for instance, that Jesus had absolute intellectual and moral superiority to any other class of spirits, because as being a pure spirit, he is the most perfect example that we have here. So whatever came from him couldn't be in any way tainted by a behavior that wasn't compatible to that. And then I'll bring a passage from the gospel. It is in Mark's and also Matthew's gospels, and it is the passage where Jesus is in a house. The house is packed with people. Jesus himself and the disciples, they couldn't even have their meal, because they were there to have their meal with the house owners, but they had so many people around them. It was so packed. And then when his mother and his brothers, they learned that, they went there to take him from there, because they thought, oh, he lost his mind. He can't be in this place. It's there's something wrong there. So when they got there, it was so packed, they had to stay on the outside and then ask someone to tell Jesus that they were there to take him with them. And then Jesus took this opportunity and asked, who is my mother and who are my brothers? Not in the sense that he decided that they weren't his brothers and that Mary wasn't his mother. In fact, what he was trying to show is that it's not blood ties that tells me who is my family. What tells me who belong to my family, and he put that very clearly to them, are those who fulfill God's will. So what he meant, he was trying to show us not the blood ties that make us family members, because this is a particularity of the physical world of one incarnation. When we come to an incarnation, we inherit the genetic code from that family where we were born. But it doesn't necessarily mean that these bonds, these ties, will remain after the grave. When we return to spirit, that kind of bonds is no longer there. So what kind of bonds actually make us a member of a certain family? The spiritual bonds. That was very nicely put in the video, mentioned in the video. The spiritual bonds, where we have affinity with other spirits, where we have this love towards one another, where we have this desire to grow together. But when we come to the physical world, we may come in different families, but we are still members of the same spiritual family. So what Jesus was trying to show us is that it's the spiritual affinity that binds you. It is this spiritual links that make you a member of a certain family, the spiritual family. The ties that you have regarding blood ties, they are very weak. They will perish. So what remains from that is just the spiritual one. And he also mentioned, it was very clear when he met Nicodemus at that very special night, and he told Nicodemus about what comes from water is water, and what comes from the spirit is the spirit. And the spirit, we don't know where it comes from and where it goes. That means, we may physically be present within a certain context, but we may not necessarily belong to that group. What dictates that, what actually makes us, as I said before, a member of the family, are the spiritual links, or the types of links that are not related to the physical ties. So, as I said before, blood ties, they don't necessarily establish ties among spirits. They may just be one phase, and perhaps those spirits will never meet again. We don't know. Perhaps some of them belong to spiritual family and some don't. So, and through reincarnation, we know that we strengthen our ties, our spiritual ties. And being a part of a family, a spirit group or spirit family, then we grow together as a family by affection, by love, as I mentioned before, by this desire to grow and help, so that the whole group will progress. And what binds this group is the sympathy, the harmony of feelings. This is the true family. That's why Jesus said he didn't want to exclude Mary and his brothers from his family, saying they are not my family. On the contrary, he tried to include many more. He's saying that, it's not just the bond because Jesus was pure love. I'm sure the whole of humanity is part of his family. As he's put there, whoever does the will of my Father, is my family. So is in my family. And what I bring then to the new year, the message to the new year is, no matter the context, the bonds that we have or not with family members regarding the blood ties that we may have, or those around us who are part of our lives but have no physical, nothing physical in common with us, they may also be part of our family. And I think our duty is always to make the effort to increase our spiritual family, to make this family as large as possible. And if we have problems within our blood family, we should try to sort them out. We should just turn our back. So the message is, it's not just the physical bond, the physical ties. It goes beyond that. So your family is much larger than that. Although you may not have this sympathy, this harmony of feelings towards some members of your blood family, it doesn't mean that you have to turn your back to them. Jesus didn't do that. He actually carried on showing people that his family was much greater than just that. That's how we should see these opportunities that we have in New Year, to include people in our spiritual families. Some of them are old members from our spiritual families. They've been with us, or we've been with them for a long time. We may meet them again in this life as a member of our blood family, or as a friend, as a colleague, or whatever. We may not. But rest assured that our spiritual family is much larger than that. And we should do the utmost to increase this family. When we return to spirit, we say, well, we've enlarged our family. The same way that we bring people to our family here on earth, when a son or a daughter get married, we then take the whole family of our in-laws, and make them part of our family here on earth. We should do that with as many people as possible. So let's increase our spiritual family in this year, taking the message of Jesus as an example. Who is my mother? Who is my father? Who are my brothers and sisters?
Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, we needed to remain on him. We need to. We have a Jesus in our mouths, but we don't know him. We know we want to get involved in discussions, like you said, if he's blonde, if he's white, tall, fat, skinny, but we have no support to discuss his morale. We don't know. We don't know the passage. We don't know what was his last words. We don't know why he's important. So that's it. My 2 cents. Okay. Let's move on. Miss Gibbons. But before Miss Gibbons, I say here, good night, Severina. Severina, good night. A long time we don't see you, my dear. Thank you. Beatriz Giles, good night, my dear. So, Miss Gibbons, again, I like to give you easy questions to you.
Thank you.
You live in my heart.
I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah, great. Okay. And the easy questions today is how to live Jesus' examples. Simple, see?
Very simple. Absolutely. It's a very simple question. And most things are simple. The most important things are very simple ones, but it requires a lot more from us. I think, what Munir was saying before about the natures of Jesus and how he saw humanity as a brother and sister in God. And that example is really very important because I think the lessons that he wanted to show us is that we are all brothers and sisters in God. And also, even at the cross, he said to John, "This is your mother, this is your son." So, even at his last moment, he emphasized that. And I think it's very important for us to remember those things, because nowadays, especially in the moments that we are living now, and we tend to say, my family, my child, my husband, my brother, my sister, we tended to say mine, and we are very enclosed, very enclosed. It's very difficult for us to see someone outside of a bloodline or blood ties as a brother, and it's something that is very, very difficult to find. And in certain times of crisis, this kind of feeling, it gets even stronger. And I think, we were talking before we started about COVID, and I think COVID is one thing that everyone is well or nobody is well, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can contaminate other people and you can cause them harm, because we don't know how each body will react. Some people will sail through it, especially if they've been vaccinated. But even though we don't know how each one's body will react to the virus, what the weaknesses are. So we have to be careful with ourselves, to be careful with others. And I think this is one of the things as well, because if we think in terms of the whole world, the whole of humanity, and what we are trying to achieve in life here, it's either everyone is help is good and healthy, or nobody is. We see the situations in Africa, in some other countries. We see the situation of the refugees, risking their lives to reach other shores. And everyone is looking for a better life, and it's very challenging sometimes for the people who live in the countries where there is a great amount of people coming in and everything, because you have to learn to share things. And we are living in a world now that we know that we are going to this great transformation, and it's the thing to learn how to be able to share the world that belongs to all of us, that we are all inheritors. And I think basically that was the teachings of Jesus. I think if we study the Gospels, if we read the Gospels, of course, we're not going to become, I think Munir mentioned something as well about this, we're not going to become, good persons overnight, but it's a process. Every day we learn something. Actually, I was talking to a friend of mine today about this, that at least I know that something I've learned in Spiritism, because before I started studying and learning about Spiritism, I didn't think whatever came to my mouth, it would just go out. I mean, not that I meant I was rude or trying to, I just didn't think. Someone said something and I'll just answer it. I wouldn't stop to think, the consequences. And sometimes I said things that are completely unacceptable if for me looking now. But at the time, I just, and I think learning about Spiritism, it helped me to now keep my mouth shut sometimes and not saying everything that comes to the mind, which, I mean, I can remember things in school, even with my teachers, bosses, times I thought, oh my God, now I'm going to get sacked. But because I just said things, and now I learned to think more about the consequence of what I do, what I say in relation to other people's lives. And I think this is important. And I think I feel that in a very absolutely, I don't know the division that I could put that, but I have learned something. There is a little bit of change in me. And I think that's what the gospel's aim. I think that's what Jesus aimed, because if we think about all the things that Jesus said, everything that taught, when that lawyer comes to him, after he had the problem with the Sadducees and everything, and the lawyer comes to him. And I think we have to understand this. Lawyer is not the same connotation of lawyers that we have now, someone who deals with the laws and justice. In those days of Jesus, a lawyer was someone who knew the law, the scriptures. This is something that we need to understand. And he came and asked Jesus, because they were forever. If we study the gospel, we see they are forever trying to question Jesus, to challenge him, to show him in a different, because they knew, I think when you said, he was a pure spirit, he was of righteousness and goodness, and that's how he was called in the scriptures anyway, because if you read, I think it's in Micah, I think, when he says he will be known as righteousness, the son of righteousness, through in Jeremiah, you read in Isaiah, they always say he's the son of righteousness. So he was already predicted to be the purest of beings in this planet. And we know, because the Spirit's book tells us, that he's the model of humanity. So I think when he was challenged by this man, he said, what are the great commandments? And Jesus repeated, and if I may, I'll read here, because I don't want to paraphrase that. He says, Jesus says to him, thou shalt love God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. And thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And it's interesting because those words are such an incredible, if we think about it, he said, you have to love God with your heart, with your soul, with your mind. So you have to be, as a whole, loving God. But also, he said, and the second one is as the first, and love your neighbor as yourself. So I think he was saying to us here that we have no difference. We cannot love God. And the Gospels, according to the Spirits explain this. It's impossible for us to love God if we don't love our neighbor. And if we love our neighbor, we automatically love God. And I think because, when we try, at least in a small way, to integrate this into our lives, into our thoughts, into our actions and words, I think what we eventually come and bring to us is that, and I think personally, the main focus of Jesus teaching that and saying that all the law actually, and after he said those things, he said all the law and the prophets hang on those. So he integrated everything in this true phrase, and also do to others as you would have they do to you. And I think this will bring, if we try to integrate this into our lives, it will bring us kindness, understanding, tolerance, compassion, forgiveness, and eventually love for humanity. So we'll be able to see each and every person as a brother, someone in the wrong, as Emmanuel says, someone in the wrong as a brother in need of help, not as a criminal. We will have compassion, we will have understanding. And also we need to do this for ourselves, because we cannot give anything that we don't have in ourselves. So understanding, compassion, love, kindness to ourselves is essential as well. We make mistakes, learn to forgive ourselves and go forward. Try not to make the same mistake again, because that's another thing that Jesus was constantly saying. Go and sin no more. And he never said he healed anyone. He always said, your faith has healed you. He said that to the woman, and he said, and whenever someone did, go and sin no more. So he gave to the people that he was helping the dignity to say, your faith has saved you. So your own strength, your own courage or purpose has helped you. And go and don't do this again. And I think this gives dignity. And I think that's what we have to learn from the lessons of Jesus, to see people, try to help them, but in a way that they don't feel obliged to us. And also because when we help others, we help ourselves. And so to allow people also to have the dignity to feel that there is their own effort, as we also feel that's our own effort when we learn something. And a little humility all comes with it. Eventually, like Paul said, charity is the greatest all. And of course, it's the love. And I think that's what Jesus said. And for me, that's what I try anyway, from the Gospels and from what I learned. I thank you.
Wonderful. That's why I like to give you easy things, my dear. You just walk through it. Okay, and also, if you, my friends, you have any questions, please write to us. And meanwhile, let's reach our dear Elsa. And my dear, how to connect family and myself.
When I was listening, Munir, so a lot of things came to my mind, and we listened Silvia, and also reading the message that you spoke in the beginning. So a lot of things come because I know the situation of a person that belongs to a family, but they are not connected. They are far from each other. Even Christmas time, no New Year together, because something happens in the past, and the family didn't accept his choice, sexual choice, position, etc., and they broke, né? This link. Of course, not broke because the link still is there. But in my point of view now, seeing the new year as a number, 2021, 2022, but new year is every moment that you decide to jump a step ahead towards something that is bothering you. Although you say that, oh, no, 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 I don't mind anymore because I broke the link, so they have their convictions, I have my way to live, they don't accept me as I am myself. So I always encourage the person to step back a little bit, to think about the family, the incarnation, this very important moment that God gives to the family in order to grow up together. And I found in Joana de Angelis two phrases in a wonderful message, family message, that make me think about to bring here, and it's like that. The family is, first of all, a laboratory of restorative experiences in which happiness and pain alternate, programming future peace. Brothers who love or hate each other. Parents who fight in the domestic proscenium. Parents who highlight one children to the detriment of others, or children who attack or support parents, are spirits in the process of evolution, returning to the stage of physical life for the staging of the play in which they failed in the past. So we know that Jesus is our model and always teaching us through the gospel, through the spiritistic teachings, how we can love our neighbor, love ourselves, love each other. Doesn't matter if it's my parents, my relatives, my neighbors. We should accept each other and respect as they are without judgment. No judgment. Because I listen, one father say, I prefer my son death instead living like that. It's not something that we should think in our life. We respect what you are saying, but I will try all my best to change your mind because you are losing a precious opportunity to accept your child, to give your support, your love as a family on behalf of Jesus that always teaching us love each other, especially our children, educate our children with love, taking care our parents, our older relatives. Sometimes we spend time beside their beds, taking care. This is the beauty. You are taking your duties in your agenda in this incarnation, the thing that you should do and you are doing very well. This is something that we have to put in practice. No judgment, respecting everyone as they are. Doesn't matter the way that they come, especially in nowadays that something is moving so fast. We have sometimes stuck it in the past, in the education that we had, but now we have to move on to help each other, to help our children, our boys, our girls, and accept them as they are. Otherwise, they go through suicide, they go through drugs, they go far from, and the tears later on will burn our skin, burn our heart, burn our spirit because we regret things that we should do and we are not doing. So this is something that we think very, very thoroughly. And the message that Stevan read before, in the passage, do not forget that Jesus never despairs with us. And if he hidden by our side, patient and kind, he repeats to us from hour to hour, love and always help. Help others by supporting yourself, because if the day returns tomorrow, I am with you, waiting for the sweet joy of the open door of your heart. Emmanuel is wonderful. And that is something that we should really take into consideration in our daily lives as a family, as a new year, as Christians, accepting what Jesus is teaching us. For sure, we will be less suffering, less pain, and more happiness when you extend your hands and give your hands to the orphans. Bring the orphans into your family. Ah, I have children, I have space for one more. Bring this child that is lonely in orphanages or in other places, no? Abrigos in Brazil, etc. Bring a child to your home. No, 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 I want only to have a child of my blood. No, we should, if you have opportunity, try to bring a child home, as we watched in the video, the beginning video. It's beautiful, encouraging new year for a family. Bring a child to your home, to your family. I wrote a book about that. A family that brought a child from the orphanage. Although they have children, they brought one more children to their family, and the happiness was even bigger into the families. So it's something that you should take into consideration and to do for the new year. Right? It's always time to bring the new year to our families, our hearts. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Anyone wants to give any consideration?
I'd like just to mention, just taking bits and pieces from what Elsa and Silvia said. Silvia said something that is very important, that Jesus summarized, I wouldn't say the gospel, because the gospel wasn't there as such, but he summarized the Old Testament in these two commandments that are very much the same. He said that the first one is love God with all your heart, with all your soul, meaning that you have to fill up yourself with God's love, which is increase, perfect yourself, get into tune with God, shine the divine law within you. But then, if we are full of love, what are we going to do with that? It's not enough. Then comes charity. Charity is love in action. You may say to someone you like every day, I love you so much, I love you so much, I love you so much, I love. That is not enough. You have to do something with this love that you say you carry with you. And Elsa pointed out, helping, increasing in different ways our earthly family and our spiritual family. Taking this love, working within ourselves to, um, to tune in with the divine laws with God, and then take this love and love our neighbor as ourselves, meaning whatever love you gain, distributed through charity. Paul the Apostle was very clear in his letter to the Corinthians and his epistle to the Corinthians when he said that of all, charity was the most important one, because charity is love in action. Just love, it's fine, but it's not enough, because you don't do anything just saying you love or loving. Oh, I love so much so and so, this planet and the birds and this and that, but love has to be put in action, and charity is the way. In a much broader sense, it's not the charity of giving the alms, as it's been said in the past, but actually loving each and everyone in the way that the moment requires. Not saying you love and no, doing the best. As you improve yourself, you'll be able to do more in your charity.
I,
Thank
I think
you.
I like to say something as well, because this is like something that Emmanuel says, because also I think charity and love and consideration has to start at home, because like he said, sometimes a person goes out into the world and they're very charitable, they're very loving, but at home they are tyrants. And he said you need to first of all be with the people that they are there for a reason. Your family, the blood ties are there for a reason. Sometimes it's easier to like someone outside much more than sometimes your own brother and sister. I think
Yeah.
Elsa said something like that. And it's, because then the spiritual ties, you can connect everywhere. But we need to make sure that we respect and we love our family first, and then we can go out into the world and give the same kindness to the world as we give to our own family. Because I mean, like some of the examples that Elsa gave, people can be so generous outside, but they cannot have the same generosity with the people who are closest to them, and the ones they actually owe more. Because if they are in that situation together, it's because there is a reason. Not there is nothing random. I think when Einstein said that God does not play dice with the universe, I don't think he plays dice with our lives either. There is a reason for everything. There is a purpose, like in Ecclesiastes, there is a time and a purpose for everything under heaven, and the people are there. And sometimes, for some reason, you don't quite get on with them. They don't have the same feeling, but you try, and then in the end, you end up loving them. And I think that's because I always think, if you have an enemy, try to be friends with them. Do your utmost to become friends with them, because then you don't have to see them again ever. Because maybe in the next incarnation, if you don't try and you become nasty, they will become as a member of your family. So the best way really is to try to love and to be, it's difficult sometimes to love, but to be tolerant, to be understanding, and never put any obstacle in friendly, in being friends with them. I think the gospel teaches us that, and I think that's very good for us to integrate this into our thoughts and feelings. Okay.
Thank you. And my dear Elsa, let's show here the homage is like 10 minutes to finish the show. So let me.
But while you prepare the slides, Stevan, I'm really thinking about some children that almost grow up without parents because some problems really acceptance inside the families. If I can, direct my message to the ones that perhaps is listening now or listening later. If you have this problem with you, in your heart, in your family, step back, go there, send a message, ask to see your father, your mother, go there. I am sure, as a prodigal son, you will be received with love and care, and the doors will be open from their hearts, their house to you. Go there. Don't stay alone. You have a family. We are someone that needs people around us. We are Gregory people. Go there, find your family, stay with your family, even with your message, because the time is always difficult. But don't leave this for later. Don't leave this for later, my dear. Go there. God bless you.
Because also, isn't it, Elsa, even if the person does not respond, because it can happen, at least you know that you tried, you do your best, and you can be at peace with yourself. You tried. I think this is very important as well to think if you're not well received, but you made the effort, and that counts a lot for
Yeah,
yourself.
agreed.
Yes, thank you, sweet.
Okay, my dear Elsa, it's with you now.
Yes. Sadly, we received the news on 1st of January from Dr. Terry Palmer daughters about his death. He passed away. COVID battle, but at least we have a memory with him for so many years, working with us, helping us in different ways, as he is a psychologist, a great member of the Spirit Release Foundation and Society for Psychical Research, and a great friend from Dr. Peter Fennick. So many things happened these years, and he was the host, was the master of the ceremony of the Congress, the seventh Congress on Medicine and Spirituality here in London in 2019. Dr. Terry Palmer here, the both are hosts for the seventh British Congress on Medicine and Spirituality. And Dr. Palmer also stayed with us in the birthday of Dr. Peter Fennick, amongst other members of the British Spiritist Medical Association. And today we are saying some few words, thanking him, thanking his family, thanking all the good things that he left behind for everyone, his books, his passage between us, bringing so many joy in our life, in spirituality, into this world, reincarnation, disobsession, working in spiritual detachment, helping a lot of people that are not mad, only people that have spiritual issues to solve. He was the ones, academically speaking, scientifically speaking, helping in his way. So the second slide, I think we have there. Today also, 7 years that Dr. Marlene Aubry, the founder and the first president of the International Spiritist Medical Association. Our great friend for more than 30 years, Dr. Marlene is my friend and still my friend in the spiritual world. So she passed away on 5th of January 2015, 7 years now. So for Dr. Marlene as well, our heart, our gratitude for bringing to the light the International Medical Spiritist Association and help it to the foundation of many associations in Brazil, researchers. She was a writer and a greater collaborator with Dr. Peter Fennick in London and other friends, Dr. Andrew Powell, Alan Sanderson, that was a great friend from Dr. Marlene. And also, the last picture is a homage as well, still a homage for Dr. Terry Palmer here. Can you see it? Him? I can't, I make here, but I don't show. Yes, Dr. Terry Palmer, with Dr. So many doctors here that was speakers, né? They were speakers for this Congress, and our volunteers with the yellow scarves. So thank you very much, Dr. Terry Palmer. Be in peace. May our dear Master Jesus bless you wherever you are and help you to wake up as soon as possible and still working with us. God bless you. Thanks so much on behalf of British Spiritist Medical Association and British Spiritist Union that we have in the UK, our BAS, okay, BUSS. Okay, thank you so much, and thank you, Stevan. Thank you, Munir and Silvia, and thank you all for watching us. Thank you very much. If Silvia can say a few words because she knew Dr. Terry Palmer, Dr. Marlene, worked with them.
Yes, it was, such a great loss because, and we had good laughs as well with both of them. They were really good, funny people you could talk and laugh about, and the serious work. And I think, if anything, they had a life of service, and they leave this inheritance to us. I think the way to really give homage to them is to take their, where they left off and continue the work and do this. So when we can pass, somebody else can take over from us and go on, because that's what Spiritism teaches us, to serve and to go forward, learning and helping others. And, I think they were both wonderful people. I have learned lots from them, and I worked with both of them quite a long time, especially with Dr. Marlene for many years. I did all the translations for her, interpreting and all that, and it was always a great joy, and we learned so much from her and from Dr. Palmer as well. So both are in our prayers, especially today, but always, and asking God's blessings to them so they may have a rest and they can continue the work there and helping us as well as they did here.
Good. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Let's go to our announcements. So our next show on next Tuesday, 9 p.m., 12th of January, it's What Does Moral Loss Means? And along with us, we will have our friend from Spain, Rodrigo Ortega. Okay, one more here. Tuesday, we have our Time to Talk with Guilherme Dias and Rafael Caldas, Conversations on Mediumship, 8:30 p.m. every 2 weeks. I think we're going to have this upcoming Tuesday, don't, Elsa, or not? You are in mute, my dear.
We had the last Tuesday, the day before yesterday. Yeah.
Okay,
now
so
we have
so now it is on the 16th of January. Okay, so and also there's a new show with these two brave guys here, Elsa and Munir. It's Coffee and Break with Kardec. So it's every Wednesday, 4 p.m. London time. It's wonderful, and if you want to see this show, you can see on Buzz, Kardec Radio, also on Spiritist Society of Ireland, Facebook, so you can have access to this. Okay.
We launched it today. You can go there and watch today.
Yeah, today was the first one. Today was the first episode. Yes. See, two brave guys, and that's it. Let me see. Yeah, that is it. Okay, so I want to say thank you, Paula Finn, to give hello to us.
Paula was a friend of Dr. Terry Palmer as well, okay?
Yeah. Céres Maria Veloso, thank you. Rubens from Uruguay. See, we are reaching all the corners of this world. Yeah. And see, Elsa, our friend from Chicago, Don, he said he already watched the coffee break with Kardec. Good, good. Thank you, Don. You are very kind with us. Thank you. Beatriz Gilles again. Thank you. And Severina, thank you for your kind words. And our dear friend, Guilherme. That's it. Thank you, guys. Munir, once again, thank you for
My pleasure.
rescue
My
us,
pleasure. Thank you all.
you know. And Elsa and Silvia, it's always a pleasure share the screen with you, my friends. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Have
you
a good
all.
Thank
week.
you.
God
Have
bless
a nice
everyone.
week. I'll
And
see
you.
you next
See you all.
Tuesday, 9 p.m. Thank you. Bye bye.
See you
Thank you.
soon.
Bye
Thank
Bye.
bye.
you.
God
Bye
bless. Bye. Bye.
bye.